right.
Let the death threats come.
For this week, we are going to be talking about the brand new Taylor Swift album, the Tortured Poets Department, the anthology version. We're actually going to be talking about the whole thing, not just the first 16 tracks, but all 31 tracks.
Which was a mistake.
The Tortured Poets Department is the 11th studio album by American singer-songwriter Taylor Swift. It was written by Taylor Swift, Jack Antonoff, and Aaron Dessner. It was released on April 19th, 2024. Upon release, the album was expanded to a double album subtitled The Anthology. So Eric, this is a surprise double album because originally everyone thought it was going to be a one disc album, but it ended up being a double album. Thoughts on this whole let's say experience?
Well, it should be the Tortured Crossroads podcast right now. So I think that coming out with a double album was a terrible mistake on Taylor Swift's part. I'm going to get that right off the bat because I think that this album could have been good. But it is so long and it's so dragged out that it's actually almost exhausting to listen to a point. Now, I know everyone's going to just jump on me right now and they're probably going to stop listening. And that's it. I think that there are really good songs in this album. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that even like I was looking at and I could correct me if I'm wrong, the actual original album that was released, not the double disc one. It's pretty much the first like what 15 or 16 songs.
16. Yeah, Clara Bow would be the
Yeah.
closer of disc one.
Yeah, so I think that even that as an album, it would be okay. I think that there are songs in the second disc that you can put in the first album, and this album would be great. But it's just too long and it sounds very similar. Like all the songs sound similar. Right? Um I don't even know where to begin here.
Okay, let's start off with the
so
double
large.
album concept, right?
Mhm.
Historically, double albums never do well. There are maybe 5 double albums that are actually good in existence.
Mhm.
It's just too long. It does just too much bloat. It's very difficult to do a very good double album. So kudos to Taylor Swift for attempting it, but I'm sort of on the same page with you. I think it was a mistake to do a double album because it sort of falls into that same cliche of the double album is just too long.
Yeah. I like the album cover. I think it's really cool and it fits the vibe of the album.
Yep.
And it also, I love the name of the album, the Tortured Poets Department. Like it's really cool. It's a really cool, intriguing name.
Yeah.
And like where do we go from here? Like pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give my thoughts on it first. So double album, too long, obviously. When I listen to this album, it really feels like she wrote a bunch of poetry, just like a ridiculous amount of poetry, and just had way too much, and then decided to put music on it, which is fine. Like that's certainly an approach you can take. Like Bob Dylan obviously is the one that comes to mind who does that all the time. You write the words first, then you put music to it, because I think the strong part of this album are the lyrics for the most part. The 100%. Music itself is sort of like samey or underwhelming at times. There's definitely like good melodies and backbeats and all that on this album, but for the most part the lyrics are forefront and the actual instrumentation is very like in the background. You don't really notice it all that much, to the point where it all just sort of blends together. So that's when I first listened to this from front to back. It's like I think it's like a 2-hour thing. I didn't realize I was listening to this album till I got to maybe track 13, 14, around there. Literally, I just hit play and then just zoned out because all the songs were just like blurring together, and
Yeah.
my ears didn't perk up till until I can do it with a broken heart. Once that came on, I was like, oh, I'm in. I actually like this song,
Yeah.
which is not good because that's track 13.
That is track 13. Yeah. I like that song too. That's one of my favorites. I really like the song Florida with Florence and the Machine
Okay.
at number 8. I thought it was really well done, and it was just a really cool duo
Yep.
that they had going. I felt like both artists really complemented each other well.
Yep.
Um, Fortnite, the opener, which is like the main single, I just felt like it was very underwhelming for an opener. I would have actually rather have seen, like, I don't know what songs to put first because they all sound the same, but I would rather have something like Florida be seen as the first album because it was a bit more upbeat.
Yeah.
Um, but like you mentioned the lyrics, like the lyrics here are really, really good. Like I really
Mm.
dug the idea around. I listened to this quite a few times because I really wanted to just give an actual legit opinion on this. Um, I really like the lyrics in "My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys."
Oh, so
Right,
good. Yes.
like the
Yes.
lyrics behind it, it's a very powerful message, right? It's almost like taking a grown man and putting him in this adolescent toddler stage where he's just breaking his toys that he gets
Yep.
like right off the bat, but he still does that with his relationships.
Yep.
um I really liked just like she just has a way with words, even in the song. Where's my notes here? How did it end?
Mm.
There's that bridge where she says like we're just in the tree, and then instead of, it's like that so and so are in the tree, KISSING, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
dying.
Yeah.
She spells out dying, and it's just like she's really good at using those kind of like innuendos and metaphors and stuff. So
Yeah.
like she's got the songwriting. Even like obviously like I saw this because I was on the bike listening to, which isn't this isn't an album to work out to by no means,
Yeah.
but I was listening to "Thank You, Amy," and I've noticed that in the lyrics the K at the I and the M are capitalized. So obviously the song's about somebody named Kim,
Yeah.
right? But like she has really cool Easter eggs in there, and just even uh like the song Albatross, the Prophecy was
Oh, so good.
probably my favorite song on this entire album. I remember that
Oh.
came on, and it was like one where I was just like, this should be on disc 1, and there should be no disc 2. Like there's a couple songs on disc 2 that should just be in disc 1, and then this album would actually be pretty decent.
Oh, okay.
That's my opinion.
Interesting. I have not the opposite opinion, but sort of a different like view on that. I think there are songs from disc 1 that should be moved to disc 2 and disc 1
Mhm.
shouldn't exist.
Interesting.
So there are definitely good songs on disc 1, but for the most part for me from 1 to 12, I would just get rid of all of it.
1 to 12,
I would
eh?
get rid of
Okay.
all of it. Like I obviously I like My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, Tortured Poets Department. That's the title track, so you can't really get rid of that. But like
Yeah.
for the most part, all those songs I would get rid of, and the whole album would be 13 to 31.
Mhm.
I maybe I'll
13 to
get rid of a
31.
few songs in disc 2, so
Yeah.
that it would fit into one disc. But I don't know, the when I first listened to it, obviously I just droned out until like track 13. And then the second time I listened to it, I like tried to pay attention, and it was just like a slog trying to get through the first half
Mhm.
of the album. And then I just found myself just listening to disc 2 the whole time, just on
Mhm.
repeat, cuz I was like disc 2 is so much better than everything
Mhm.
on disc 1.
In
Like,
terms of musicality, I would agree with you
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But I felt the songs on disc 1 were stronger
Right.
than on disc 2. Now that being said, I also want to mention this too because I think that like you said, she take She had a lot of poetry that she put music to. And I don't know whether she was trying to make a new folklore, but I just it just did not sit well at all. Like I don't think she'll ever like this album has made me wonder, has Taylor Swift lost her touch
I
with the music,
no,
with her albums?
I wouldn't agree with that. I think at this stage she's just not concerned with making a pop hit.
Yeah.
She's just making conscious or unconscious choice of this doesn't need to be on the radio.
Hmm.
These are just my songs, which I sort of like better than like just trying to be like the number one hit on the radio.
Hmm.
Cause like I feel like she could just write another shake it off and just do that every single year. But
Yeah.
like I just don't think artistically that would be like very fulfilling for her.
Yeah.
So like I still think she's a great songwriter. I just have a problem with this album because
Hmm.
it's just a bunch of poetry that you put music to, and it's just way too much. It's just like you wrote way too much stuff, and some of it needs to be fleshed out more, and some of it just needs to be scrapped.
Yeah. I agree. I 100% agree. I'm going to lose my mind if she creates like a deluxe version with like the vault from this. I will be like, no, no, you've had your songs. That's it. Um, yeah,
Imagine.
you make a good point there. You do make a good point. I guess I feel that the songs almost sounded too similar to stuff on like Folklore
Mhm.
or that other one that was after Folklore,
Evermore.
Evermore. Um, like there's it just sounded way too the same, and it was like okay, like like she has done this before, and it wasn't as in like this is her sound. Like it's
Right.
not that. It is literally like I feel like this song exists in her catalog before with just different lyrics on it.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
Now like let the fans rip us apart in the comments, but hey.
Yeah, because like the magic of folklore is, I think, on like if you're comparing lyrically, I think folklore is just as good, or this album is just as good as folklore lyrically. But folklore has the benefit of having just really good instrumentation. It has the music to back up the lyrics, whereas this album is just really good lyrics and just like mediocre to subpar uh
Mhm.
musicality, which I don't know. From our obviously from our perspective, we just really enjoy like melodies and instrumentation and arrangements, and we don't really listen to music fully just for the lyrics. If you only care about lyrics in songs, you only care about singer-songwriters, this
Mhm.
might be the best album you've ever heard,
Mhm.
right? If that's all you care about and that's what you like, all you want to hear is an acoustic guitar and a singer and them just like pouring their heart out, this might be the best thing you've like ever listened to. But
Mhm.
for us, like you need to you need to have the music to back up those lyrics. It makes the lyrics just stand out even more.
Exactly. Like that's the whole point of a song. Like everything's supposed to come together and
Yeah.
nice neat tied bow.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're lacking that. We're lacking this significantly because I don't think I came out of this humming that many songs.
Yeah. Definitely there are definitely lyrics that like got stuck in my
Mhm.
head, but in terms of like melodies and stuff, no. Because like if I try to recall like what the albatross sounded like, or I look in people's windows or the bolter or any of the songs, I can't really tell you a melody. I could tell you a
Mhm.
lyric from it because it was so like in your face, but melody wise, I probably couldn't do it.
Exactly. No, totally.
um Fortnite, I do want to talk about this one. I feel like this was very underwhelming for an opener
Mhm.
track, especially because it had Post Malone on it. I think the usage of Post Malone was very underwhelming to the point where I didn't even realize Post Malone was on. It could have just been a random Joe Schmo featured.
Mhm. Post Malone, as I call him.
Like
Hmm.
he didn't, like, obviously he's like one of the songwriters on it, but they didn't utilize him in any special way to make it
Hmm.
sound different. Whereas Florida with Florence and the Machine, that was very clearly a Florence and the Machine
Yeah,
feature, right? But the Post Malone
100%.
one, like, it could have
Yeah,
just been backup vocals.
it's like when John Mayer did that song and had Taylor Swift, and it was literally like, wait a minute, she's in this song.
Yeah.
I can't even think of the song name, but it doesn't matter. Uh, yeah, no, you make a good point. Like, and I don't know if you saw the music video for it.
Yeah, it was whatever. It was okay.
Yeah, it was almost like,
It was very
I don't know.
artsy.
It's just yeah. It felt too forced. This song,
Yeah.
like it just felt like very like, I don't know. And I just can't take Post Malone very seriously ever since watching him on Jimmy Fallon, and he was there. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea what you're
He's
talking
he's on Jimmy Fallon, and he takes him to the Olive Garden, and they're like hyped up that they get unlimited garlic bread or whatever it is, right? So ever since watching that, I can't take him
That's
seriously. I'm sure he's a cool guy to hang out with,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
but yeah, yeah, that song is interesting. I just thought it was a terrible opener for this album.
Yes. It was definitely one of those, you put it out there because it's two big names in the industry and
Mhm,
it catches your attention, but the song itself is like a whatever song.
mhm.
Um but yeah, I think overall this album, it falls into that trap of the double album curse. It's just too long. There's too much bloat. It really should be cut in half.
Well, even if you look at it, the like, sorry to cut you off there, but like album one, like if it was just the first album, that's 16 songs. That's a lot of songs
I know.
for an album. Like even for a double album, this is really long. Like you're
Yeah.
almost looking at 15 songs per disc,
Yep.
right? And
More.
like I think it should, if you're gonna do a double album, it should be maybe 20 songs. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
there is a lot of fluff that you can cut from this album
Yep.
that I bet you people won't even notice are gone.
Yeah. And like, even if you look at the timings on these songs, most of them are in the high threes or mid 4 minute mark. Like,
Mhm.
these aren't like 2 minute punk songs or like three minute pop songs. These are legitimately like sitting in the 4 minute range for each song.
Yeah, like 2 hours, 2 hours to listen to this album, front and back.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yep. Yeah. It's an actual, you actually have to dedicate time if you're going to really listen to this thing front to back.
Absolutely. And any of the haters out there that would like to jump on this bandwagon and come and send us death threats, just give us like comment. I want to know, like, I want you to justify every single song, because I can, like, both of us are under the opinion that we can trash most of these songs and have one album. Whether we agree which songs are the album, that's a whole different story.
Yeah. Honestly, if she did it one album with the best songs that she had, and then a week later or a day later, whatever it is, here's the vault of all the songs that didn't make into the album,
Mm.
I feel like that would have worked much better.
And we've talked about this before. Have like a vault edition,
Yeah.
right? And people would, like, the fans would buy it.
Yeah, the
The fans would
hardcore
buy it.
fans would just love it because they just want to consume more content. But like
Hmm.
the actual like body of, like the actual art form of making an album would be like intact. You would actually have
Hmm.
a good album, and then all the other leftovers are for like the hardcore fans that really just want to listen to everything.
Absolutely. One thing I also want to talk about with this album is I felt like, so her lyrics, top notch lyrics.
Yep.
I'm not bashing the lyrics. However, I am kind of getting tired of the poor me, all these relationships are terrible. and it's just like it's like this dramatic, almost like high school. And she does have a song called
So
High
high school.
School on
Yeah.
there. Yeah, so High School on
I
there.
love
And
that song.
I don't
It's
know.
so good.
I do too. I think it was really well written, but and I don't know if that's like almost like a little like, yeah, no, I know this is me, but um I don't know. I'm just getting tired of it. Like I want to hear these lyrics as Taylor Swift as the adult,
Mm. But don't you
right?
feel like she's still in that uh not adolescent, but in the dating breakup phase where these lyrics that she's writing are still her current
Mhm.
uh mindset?
Yeah, no, she definitely is, right? Because she hasn't really locked down a husband yet.
I guess. Yeah.
Right? And I'm not bashing that per se. I just guess I'm just like, okay,
She's written a lot of songs about the same topic.
she's written a lot of songs with the same topic.
Mm.
However, like to counterpoint my argument for myself, like the lyrics are damn good though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess I'm getting tired of the immaturity behind these songs almost maybe.
Yeah, like breakup, makeups type of songs.
Yeah,
At some point after 11 studio albums, you want the artist to start, you know, exploring different topics.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I
I can
think
see that.
she can. I think she can, and I think she could have done this, especially if she is writing poetry, right? She could have definitely done this with an album like this.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she had the number of songs to do it.
Yeah. That also that's sort of why folklore has that sort of special thing because it's a bunch of characters that she's written
Mhm,
about, like sort of based on reality, but also obviously fictional characters that she's made up. Um,
mhm,
and it's explored more topics than just the makeup breakup topic, right? So folklore
mhm.
is sort of, I think that's the gold standard. Um, Fair or unfair, but that is sort of, you know, the best thing that we've heard from her. And this, it's just missing that music component.
Absolutely. Like, I don't even think that there's anything like that upbeat where it's like, because now I heard a rumor that this album has literally made the like every 30 songs have made the charts
Yeah.
in top Billboard, which is absolutely like that's a whole other
The
topic.
Swifties are hardcore, man. The Swifties
They
are
are
just
hardcore,
hardcore.
absolutely. I feel like we're gonna get so many comments from this.
Yeah,
But Eddie,
there's not too many upbeat songs. Like I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, that's an upbeat one.
yeah,
Florida's a bit
that
mid-range still.
actually, let's talk about that song.
Sure.
Like that song is a perfect song for what I'm talking about in terms of like this is not in the wheelhouse of breakup and stuff like that. Sure, she mentions it, but it's
Mm,
almost like her dealing with being so famous
yeah.
and yet also trying to deal with reality,
Yeah.
right? Which I thought was interesting, and I really loved the line. Um, it
The
was
birthday line.
the birthday line.
Yeah, no,
What is
it's
it? I'm
so good.
pulling it up right now. Here,
But yeah, that song, I mean, I think that could have been the lead single in my opinion.
100%. It should have been.
Yeah.
It 100% should have been.
Cuz it like even melodically, it's got that synthy, it really catches your ear,
Oh yeah.
all the tones and everything in that one. So, but yeah, for me that song is where it really kicks off. Before that, it's like here's a good sort of melody line, here's a good lyric, here's one good song, but it's like it's too much misses compared to hits
Exactly.
before that for me.
I can't freaking find the lyric.
The
But
lyrics not there. It's not
yeah.
online yet. I'm surprised the Swifties haven't like transcribed everything and put it all over the internet.
No, I'm looking. Is it this song
Yeah, I can
that's
do
it
it with
is?
a broken heart.
Maybe you gotta
Do
fake
do
it till
do
you
do
make
do
it.
do 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 do
She's
do.
having
Here, I got it. I'm so depressed, I act like it's my birthday every day.
Yeah, that's it. Just of course I find it. Yeah, like
It's
that.
it's a really good line.
Absolutely, it's a really good line, and it paints that picture of the struggle because obviously somebody being that caliber of fame
Mm,
would be ridiculous,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, like there's so many good lyrics on this album. It's just there isn't that music to prop it all up.
yeah, exactly. Sorry, one second. There we go. Sorry, that was my wife. She was asking for keys.
No worries.
um, yeah, yeah. There's no. What were we talking about? We're talking about.
We just finished on I Can Do It for Broken Heart, but just basically the lyrics are like the star of the show, and
Mhm.
like maybe there should be a guitar solo, a guitar melody, maybe like
Yeah,
a keyboard, something interlude, something. I don't know. One thing I do want to say though, Taylor Swift bridges are top notch. She always
absolutely.
writes the best bridges.
I have this thing where like I love songs with good bridges. Like
Yeah,
it is so
not
like
many people can do a good bridge.
no,
Taylor Swift has
it's
that nailed down.
especially pop songs. Pop
Oh,
songs
yeah.
rarely have bridges,
Yeah.
and this like she nails it every single time,
Yeah.
which is great because I always get excited because I'm like, what is the bridge going to sound like? The song is okay, but what is the bridge going to sound like? And it's always the best part of the song, I think,
Yeah.
especially on this album.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so
Mhm.
good. All right, Eric, let's do it. Final thoughts, ratings. I don't know how we're gonna do this because this album is so long, but
Mhm.
whichever way you want to rank this, we'll go with that.
So I final thoughts. I honestly think, and I've said this at the beginning, I think that this should be one album. I think we disagree because usually when a double album comes out, especially when people are fans of that double album, they're like, "Yo, what disc do you like? I like disc one, obviously, and Kem likes disc two."
Yeah, yep, yep.
Um, so I think it should have been one album. I think it was a mistake that she did two. I don't know the reasoning behind it or why. Maybe she just like, fuck it, I can do what I want, and that's probably the reason.
I think that's the case.
And I respect that. I respect that because she's earned the right to do this. Um, and I
She doesn't need new fans. She doesn't need the popularity. You
no,
literally can whatever you want to do, you put it out because it feels right.
100%,
Doesn't mean that it's going to be good at the end of the day, but you literally can do whatever you want.
100%, 100%. Um, that being said, because this is a double album, and I didn't enjoy the longevity of it, I am gonna give this. It, I don't know. I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10.
Oh my god, a 5.
A 5 out of 10
So it's just an average album.
because I think it was just like I honestly don't know why this exists.
In
That's
the current format, right?
in the current format. I don't know why this exists, and I don't know why. Like I don't know. Like Taylor Swift to me has always been this artist that has worked her ass off to get where she is. Like again, nobody. I don't think anybody will be as famous. Like when you hear these people, oh, they're gonna be the next Taylor Swift. Like, okay, good luck with that. Like,
Right.
you're literally fighting God. Like that is like you're fighting the gods. And I think that even if you look back at the other albums that maybe not in my wheelhouse of genre, but I think that they're way stronger than this. And I
Mm,
think that this is probably the weakest thing that she has made in a long time. Uh,
really?
yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Fighting
And
words.
it
Fighting
and I know
words.
it is fighting words, but I'll be willing to defend it. Again, I think the lyrics are there, but the musicality behind it, and like if you compare it to the other albums,
Mm,
like there is more musicality behind those great top-notch lyrics. So this is the top-notch
mm,
lyrics without the musicality, right? So
right.
that's where I feel that this is a 5 out of 10 for me.
I see. I see. Before I get into my thing, I do want to ask if these were two albums, disc 1, 1 to 16, which is Clara Bow, and then disc 2, The Black Dog, all the way to the manuscript. What would you give disc 1, and what would you give disc 2? Because I'm curious.
Huh. That's a good question.
I'm
I'm gonna have
wondering
to
if
look at the.
I'm wondering if there's a big divergence between disc 1 and disc 2 for you in terms of a rating. And does that equal a 5 in
I
average, or
I think it would give it like a courtesy point to like both would get 6s,
okay, so together
but
it
to,
lowers the score.
together it lowers the score. But if I
Mm,
took songs off disc 2 and put it on disc 1
mm.
and like arranged it and maybe had like I think if you put this song at 14 songs on this entire anthology,
Oh God. Okay.
you would probably have an 8 out of 10 for me.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like obviously you're gonna have to give me some more time to think of which songs to put on there.
Mm.
If you want that opinion, I could put it on the Discord. But but yeah, as it stands right now, like I'd have to rearrange the entire album too. That's the other thing because of the
Yeah,
flow
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. Because I didn't think that there was a flow. So I just thought that was just
That's
like let's
true.
just get songs on there,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
right?
Okay. All right. So a 5 overall, 6 for the individual pieces if you were to
Yeah.
split it that way. Okay, okay.
But an 8 out of 10 for the album that I would have out of these songs.
Right. Okay. Um I am surprisingly I'm going to give it a 6 out of
Mm,
10 cuz I think it's still a decent listen as long as you break it up into chunks. It's near impossible to listen to this in one sitting. Like you
mm.
really need to carve out time if you're going to try to tackle this in one sitting because that's 2 hours of your life, right? That's basically
Or
a
more,
movie.
like I did. I felt like I spent a day
Yeah.
listening to 24 hours.
It's pretty much a movie.
Mhm,
Um so I'm gonna give it a 6 because I think lyrically it's so strong that it outshines any sort of a lot of the shortcomings of having a double album. But it's a 6 simply because it is such a task to get through it.
mm.
So the enjoyment level isn't there because it's just way too much.
This
Um,
actually felt like work to
yeah,
me. Like listening to this album felt
yeah,
like actual work.
yeah. But individual discs, one, I would honestly give this. I would probably give this a 3, the first
Mm,
disc, because I did not enjoy it until it got to track 13. So that's only 4 songs out of the 16 that I actually liked, or that I actually paid attention to. But disc 2, I would actually give that an 8 out of 10.
hmm,
I actually think the second disc is so much
interesting.
stronger. Um, there's still some bloat in there that I would get rid of, but overall, I just found myself just like skip everything and go straight to the Black Dog and just
Mm,
like finish it off, and I
hmm,
just like enjoyed it way more. Um,
interesting.
but yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a 6 overall. Honestly, there are just like if you just pinpoint specific songs on this album, they're some of the best Taylor Swift songs that you're gonna get.
Mm,
Even though
100%.
musically it's not there, but lyrically it's just like some of the best work she's ever done.
Yeah, it's top notch.
I really like I look in people's windows. I really like that sort of storytelling in that one,
Hmm.
and it's a catchy melody, so it's nice. But
Yeah,
um, yeah, the double album. It's just double albums are cursed.
curse.
It's just
It's a
cursed.
curse.
It's just way too long.
It is hard to make a double album.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about like a greatest hits double album. Like this is like a true double album, all as original content.
Yeah. All right. Well, in come the death threats for us. Please
Yes.
please
Let them come.
please address them on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So it's publicly known that those death threats are coming.
Mhm.
So we can be warned of them. But yeah,
Exactly.
So yeah, that was our discussion on the Tortured Poets Department by
I
Taylor
feel
Swift.
like we're gonna have a lot of comments to defend the
I feel
next
like
episode.
I feel like people are just gonna dislike and just like
Oh yeah,
these fools.
just gaslight
What
us.
are these fools talking about? All right. Anyways, that's it for this week. For those of you following along with us every single week, the album that we are going to be listening to and discussing is the brand new Pearl Jam album, Dark Matter.
Can't wait for this one.
Should be pretty good, hopefully. But yeah, we'll be talking about that. We will be back next Wednesday at 10 p.m. ET, 7 p.m. PT. We're on our Wednesday schedule currently here at twitch.tv/the Crossroads Music Podcast. Catch us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all the places where you get your podcasts. We talked about Taylor Swift way too much on this episode, but I mean, I'm just glad that the biggest pop star in the world actually writes her own songs,
Yes.
right? Like you always complain about like these pop stars. What do they actually do? They're just like entertainers or whatever. I'm just really happy that we have an actual musician that's
Mhm.
actually making her own music that is number one in the whole world.
Like you look at every song, songwriting credits. It's Taylor Swift and maybe one person.
Yeah,
That's it,
yeah.
right? And
Are we
there's
talking
something to
about
say
Cowboy
about
Carter in this episode too?
maybe, maybe. And it's nice and refreshing, and it's honest lyrics. Which at the end of the day, like
Yeah.
I would give this a 10 out of 10 if it was just based off the lyrics.
Oh yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
but it's not,
yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah,
So, but yeah, like it's so nice to have an artist write their own songs.
yeah, yeah, and be popular, right?
Exactly.
Anyways, this is a Crossroads Music Podcast. Thank you for tuning in yet again another week. Send your hate mail to our YouTube channel.
Yes, please. We can't wait.
All right. We'll see you all next week.
Cheers.